These individuals who are jumping over themselves and doing all kinds of funny things and so on, look at them. My brother, look at them. What is presidential about them?
Oh.
I'm serious. What is presidential about them? Tell me. What is presidential about these individuals jumping around and playing the fool? What is presidential about them? These individuals have become relevant or have gained some relevance because of their participation and association with the National Democratic Congress. Finish. Take any one of them and take the NDC out and see who they are. So they should stop wasting our years. They should stop wasting our time. Why? Look at the qualification for president.
Look at the qualification for president. Kwesi Pratt Jr. and wa list criteria and as a qualification assessing ko bi kura nya, the experience assessing ko bi nya ansa na wo my Ghana a etise no ye betimi power se brabedi anim. Nanso so ene oba NDC amnyokuo mu a apere bi ahyase a ekoso a obia dwene se edru no so say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama eba be firi ho no media esese wono ena etoaso obi te se Haruna Idrisu oho na Geopolitical agiman ebinom kire se wono so ba Julius Debra wono so ayiniti General Asiedu Nketia wono so ayiniti ena obi te se Okujeto Ablakwa wono so ayiniti atofo sen wono so ayiniti na no na Kwesi Pratt kase na moka se ye nkwala ana se moka se sebi agoro wo ye ni so ena mu NDC fo sebi nipa san wo man ni munti ena sa nkofo esi epre wo mu gidigidi se obia pese oba begina se yento no so aba no man ba yo mampani na moka so mampani no sebi se wo ye soja ni ena wo di soja etuo ena ba be tu abanya gudia ena wo hia se wonya criteria na se experience bia because wo de nhyeso na eba na emumpa se wo kosi yenko gina ho na yento so aba de ene wo hia se wonya some qualification bi experience bi ansa na Ghana fo ahwe ho ato baba ma na o kire se ohwe MPP amonyokuo mu asene ye kase ye pinipa be se 2030 wo MPP mu a obia betimi agina se yento no so mampani a MPP fo betimi anya bi fi se MPP fo no wo mu akuku dam ya wono mabukui akosuku ya dia obi ti se Dr. Laji Mahmoud Bawumia na se okofa sankofu ye ne wo mo praise wo mo de kototo Dr. Bawumia ho a enya de se obia betimi ne Bawumia kwa wo se NDC ni na agidin NDC no na ya monyokuo bi e won ekitafo bebre na ho dada ti akwese obia ne bebe bia no ye beto no so aba nye sa pa de anka sankofu ye no mo praise ye nto mo so aba de ene oh my Ghana ye joke ye joke kura fi se bra enya fa hodie de babesi nde Dr. Laji Mahmoud Bawumia ye obia bedi adanse se wono ne vice president a ye betimi aka se oni wo mampani nyina ayi adwuma ema we nam ha Akufuado nam ha na Bawumia nam ha Akufuado nam ha na Bawumia nam ha ti programs bebre no anya no wo 2017 edibesi 2024 no nyina no if Dr. Laji Mahmoud Bawumia ho it is a vice president etimi abo adwuma sei na chese wonim de 21st century technology Bawumia wo bi it is a okofa wo bi e wo NDC mo se ye fa na metoto Bawumia ho 2028 na okofa sa ankofu ye omo prayer omo ministry kro mu ntimi handle no a ene na chese NDC fo mu ye joke papa na Kwesi Pratt kanse bebre no a e de fa NDC ho se o mu hia wonsiesie e wo mu se President Mahama okwa o mabie wode nanso so NDC anhwe ya o mu nya obi if is a sankwas anase o mu gumo no onye sure se o metrimu odu sa se o mbetimi aprema mpani yenko tie Kwesi Pratt wadaro mabomodin na e like video yi ma me why na e share na fa adwenkyire nso so bra na ye nyina no ye hwe ne yenhwe mu ade me da se.
Mr. Pratt?
Well, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, on this very platform, I warned that if this mad rush to declare personal ambitions, to succeed John Mahama is not dealt with, the NDC could break up into factions. And that in no time at all, different branches of government will be seen in public, in fights which will become public. You remember a couple of weeks ago. Today, it is clear that the declaration of these reckless ambitions and so on has found space, on the front pages of the newspapers. I'm holding in my hands the Daily Gist of Friday, 5th June, 2026. And the headline is, blows over 1.67 billion agric budget. Atuforsen Eric Opoku, internal fight spills out. It's a very long story. And it reads, a public disagreement over the release of budgetary allocation to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has sparked fresh political storm within the governing National Democratic Congress, with observers linking the controversy to the emerging battle over who succeeds President John Dramani Mahama as the party's presidential candidate for the 2028 general elections. The controversy erupted after Deputy Finance Minister Thomas Nyarko Ampim announced during a presentation to stakeholders and development partners that the government had released 1.677 billion to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, representing 85% of the ministry's approved 2026 budget for goods, services, and capital expenditure. And it goes on. You see, there's no way, it is not possible to encourage this declaration of ambitions and campaigning without creating rival forces in government and in the party. It is not possible. If you allow this to fester, the rivalries would emerge and they will found spaces on the front pages of our newspaper, and they will create the impression of total disarray and disorganization at the center of government. This is the danger facing the National Democratic Congress. And the earlier the National Democratic Congress woke up to this reality, the better it will be for them. This dispute. Tell me how this dispute makes sense. All the ministers meet in cabinet every Thursday. The cabinet meeting provides a forum for sorting out these things. When it spills into public as it has done, it tells a story of disorganization. It shows that the cabinet meetings are not even serving the purpose for which they were established. All the ministers are supposed to work up to the chief of staff. If there's a minister whose resources have not been released by another ministry, doesn't it make more sense for the minister to report to the chief of staff than to speak to the media? All of the ministers are representatives of the president in the various ministries. Are they telling us that the president has lost control? This dispute in the media, what does it tell us? That the president has lost control? This is the danger we have been talking about for a long time. And this is it. It's now spilled into the public domain. To the embarrassment of the party, to the embarrassment of the president and so on. This is what we have been talking about. So embarrassing. This is happening at a time when, perhaps for the first time in our history, or perhaps for a very long time, the rate of inflation has climbed down from 50-something% all the way to 3.3%. Nobody is talking about that. You are talking a dispute between Ministry of Agriculture and Ministry of Finance. This is the time we are told that the national debt has reduced. Who is talking about that? This is the time we are told that the import cover, how do they say it, has improved. Who is talking about that? This is the time when we are told, for example, that the value of the city has appreciated. Who is talking about that? Everything is about the personal ambition of individuals. And my comrade, Dr. Naba, you see, the contest for national leadership is not a beauty contest. The contest for national leadership is not a beauty contest at all. It's not about who has been marketed and for how long it's been marketed. That is not the issue. The contest for national leadership is about shaping of a national vision and demonstrating how that vision is realistic and achievable. That is the only context within which that contest must properly take place. One is reduced to a beauty contest. One is reduced to a contest between individuals, their personal attributes and so on. It loses its essence. So it's not about for how long Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been marketed. That's not the issue. And it's not about for how long whoever may emerge has been marketed. That's not the issue at all. Why? Recently, in one of these Asian countries, a candidate has emerged who has won elections. This young musician who won elections in, where is it? I will remember very soon.
Is it Latin American?
It's not a Latin American country, it's an Asian country bordering India. You know. Why? Until a few months to the election, nobody knew him. He beat the traditional politicians, landslide victory and so on. So it is not true that it's about marketing and so on. It is not true. You understand? Look at what happened in Senegal. The two guys who teamed up to win the elections there, they were not known traditional politicians and so on. So that is not a statement of fact. Again, you see, if you join a political party, the moment you join a political party, if you're an independent candidate, that's okay. The moment you join a political party, the statement you make is that your personal ambition has been subordinated to the ambition of the collective, which is the ambition of the political party. So nobody's individual personal ambition is bigger than the ambition of the political party. Indeed, it is the political party which wins elections or loses elections. It's not about individuals. In any case, these individuals who are jumping over themselves and doing all kinds of funny things and so on, look at them. My brother, look at them. What is presidential about them?
Oh.
I'm serious. What is presidential about them? Tell me. What is presidential about these individuals jumping around and playing the fool? What is presidential about them? These individuals have become relevant or have gained some relevance because of their participation and association with the National Democratic Congress. Finish. Take any one of them and take the NDC out and see who they are. So they should stop wasting our years. They should stop wasting our time. Why? Look at the qualification for president. The qualification for president says that anybody who is 40 years and above, who qualifies to be a member of parliament, who is a Ghanaian, is qualified to be president. Alive? Huh? Yes. So there are millions of Ghanaians who qualify to be president. You understand? Millions of Ghanaians qualify to be president. So they shouldn't waste our time. They shouldn't create the impression that there are some special beings who dropped from outer space yesterday and they have some qualifications that nobody has. What qualifications do they have? All these people jumping around. If you take, assuming that academic qualification is important, I don't think it is. But let's say that some of them think that academic qualification is important. Are they the most qualified academically in their country? They are not. If you take age, are they the oldest people in this country? They are not. What criteria? Any criteria that you pick, the people jumping around will not excel above the 36 million Ghanaians. So why are they wasting our time? It is becoming nauseating. You understand? Now, one of the other principles which is important, and it's an important principle, if they intend to contest elections on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress, or if anybody intends to contest elections on the ticket of any political party, it is that party's record, history, and so on, which wins or loses elections. Okay? Now, if that is the case, why are they wasting their time and wasting our years and so on? I don't understand. And I don't want to mention individual names. But take all the people who are jumping around and are they better than other party members? There's one who has openly come out and said that he is ready. If he's chosen, he'll be president. Let me ask Ayeka, what makes him think that he's more qualified to be president than Dr. Anaba, who is sitting here? What makes him think that he's more qualified than Okudato Ablakwa? What makes him think that he's more qualified than Baba Jama? What makes him think that he's more qualified than Alex Segbefia? What makes him think that he's more qualified than Kalisus Mahama? What makes him think that he's more qualified than Obobia? What makes him think that? It is simply arrogance. It is arrogance. They are displaying pure arrogance. Because otherwise, why? We are working with people for the same purpose. Fifi Kwete is general secretary. He's sweating it out, trying to build the party and mobilize and so on. And you, because you've been given some small ministerial appointment, you go and sit somewhere and say, I want to be Fifi Kwete's leader. Are you better than Fifi Kwete? Are you better than Fifi Kwete? Are they better than Mahama Ayaraga? Why this? It's a shame. Complete shame. And I've said repeatedly that one of the things that worries me most is that in their quest to become presidential candidates, and I don't know why they even want to become presidential candidates, all of these people are going around saying that, oh, Mahama's term is going for only one term. That term will end in 2028. And because of that, he's going to become a lame duck very soon. You've heard it. What does that mean? What does that mean? When they say that Mahama is going to become a lame dog, what does that mean? That simply means that in a few months' time, they will not respect the president. That in a few months' time, the president cannot direct them as to what to do. He's a lame dog. He has no influence. He's nothing. Is that not insulting? Somebody appoints you to come and help achieve certain objectives and so on. After 17 months, you have decided that he's becoming a lame dog. You, the appointee, you have decided that he's becoming a lame dog. And therefore, you can do as you please. Perhaps they are lucky they have somebody like Mahama as president. Because somebody else would have sacked all of them long time ago. Sacked them, long time ago. And the funny thing, they come and say that, oh, I haven't said that I want to be president. Do you have to say it? All of these machinations on the ground, don't you know that they are being organized? All of this, and I don't want to talk about the specific machinations. They're all organized. They are funded. Are they not funding the machinations on the ground? Who can deny that all the things you see on social media, all those videos and so on, incoming president and so on, is not organized? Don't let us deceive ourselves. These are organized, funded. And it's going to cause a lot of trouble. What we are seeing now in the newspapers, this one, is only the beginning. If it's not stopped now, it will create a hell of problems for the party. Look, in the last elections, the NDC did so well. Look at the number of seats they have in parliament and so on. Somebody must wake up to the fact that that verdict of the people meant something. And if you toy with what that verdict meant, they will throw you out. The same way they threw the New Patriotic Party out. They voted for something. They want to realize that's something that they voted for. And what they voted for, I dare say, is significant improvement in the quality of their citizenship and their standard of living. That is what must be delivered. And you've been given the chance to help deliver that. And you are not focusing attention on that. You are standing in the mirror every morning, looking at your face and turning your back and saying, what, me too, I'm fit to be president. You are an idiot. Sana, it's true. There's no other language that I can use. No, what other language can I use? If anybody wakes up in the morning, stands in front of the mirror, looks at himself or herself, turns her back, and comes to the conclusion that me too, I have to be president, what is that person? Tell me, how can you describe such a person? Such a person has lost it. He's lost it completely. The faculties are no longer working. It's been completely consumed by egotism. You understand? Completely consumed by egotism. That is the problem. Look, 2028 elections is going to be far more difficult than the 2024 elections. Because public expectation is high. People are going to ask important questions about how promises will be realized. A lot is going to depend on the legacy that President Mahama leaves. If President Mahama, by 2028, is not seen to have delivered on his promise, let me tell you what will happen. People are going to say, all politicians are the same. Mark it on the wall. People are going to say, they're all the same. They will all come and sweet talk us, and if you vote for them, nothing will happen. If that should happen, how can you, as a presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress, win election? If that should happen, the possibility is that you can get an upstart, somebody, populist and so on, emerging to beat both the NDC and the NPP. That's a possibility. Some complete upstart, somebody populist, just come on the wave and say all politicians are the same. Don't mind the political parties again, and so on. It is a possibility for 2028. The only way of averting that for the National Democratic Congress is for the National Democratic Congress to achieve the reset agenda. People want to see the 24-hour economy program being implemented. People want to see the big push projects being realized. People want to see the Women's Development Bank being established. People want to see access to university education open and less expensive. That is what people want to see. We don't care about you being president. And I mean all of them. That is not our concern. Why? We will go and line up to vote because one of these people is going to be president. You think that is why we will line up to vote? You think that is why we will wake up? Some will stand in the scorching sun for hours to go and vote because of any of these people. Do you think so? So they should focus. Look, what is terrible is that you had the whole council of elders of the party meet. The president sat in the meeting. I'm told that Mr. Tuahoy, and you probably don't know the condition of Mr. Tuahoy now. I've been to visit him in his house. The man is virtually bedridden. He's sick. He woke up from his sick bed and went to sit in this meeting because it was important for him. Check the people who went to this meeting. The sacrifices they had to go through to get to this meeting alone. And then they go and take a decision, and the very next day, that decision is being trampled under the feet. What do you think? What do you think of yourself? I am getting deeply worried by these chaps. The worst part is when I hear some people say that, oh, as for politics, once you enter politics, your ambition is to become president. What? And they say that in our face. We who are going to vote, they tell us that. Dr. Naba, do you have an ambition to become president?
Yes, no. I want to serve my people of Garu. That's my ambition.
But they tell us that, oh, as a politician, your ambition is to become president. Is that your ambition? Then your ambition does not coincide with aspirations. You better step aside quickly. It's becoming such a circuit, and so on. But as I hear many people say now, look, all these people, they have been sweet-talked. They've been persuaded and so on for a long time. It's not working. It's not working. Can you imagine that 24 hours after the Council of Elders issued the statement, one minister boldly stood up and said, I still want to be president. So the time has come for the president to crack the whip, to instill discipline in his ministers. How come that questions of ministerial allocation of resources is on the front pages of newspapers? How come? Is the cabinet not working? Don't they have cabinet meetings? And these matters cannot be discussed at cabinet. They have to spill into the public domain. Yeah? Recently, I traveled outside the country. I traveled outside the country. And I met a friend of mine who is not Ghanaian. He's not Ghanaian at all. And who does development, is involved in development strategy and so on. And he met somebody from government. This is a stranger. He's not even a Ghanaian. And the person from government was telling him that his area of operation, where he's supposed to be working and so on, things are not working well. And the reason is that the Minister of Finance wants to be president. And because the Minister of Finance thinks that he is a potential challenger, the Minister of Finance is not releasing funds for his outfit to work. This is how bad things have become. This is how bad things have become. You understand? This is how bad. And you know, all of you sitting with me here, you know what I'm talking about. Don't you?
learning.
No, you know. You are a member of parliament. You know these things have come to your attention. Are you going to deny? Okay, deny. Dr. Anaba, you are allowed to deny. If what I'm saying is not true, just say that it's not true.
Senior comrade.
Eh? You all know. So, something is not working in some sector. You say, hey, Atufosin wants to be president, so he's not giving me the necessary resources. Is that how you want to run this government? Is that how you want to run your government? Is that how you want to win election 2028? Hey, you people, you are taking the people of Ghana for granted. Oh. And any government which has taken the people of Ghana for granted has fallen. Check our history. So, why? President Muhammad, everybody is looking after you. Take the necessary measures to restore sanity in your government. You understand? One of the other problems that crops up, the chief of staff has been mentioned as somebody who is also interested. You understand? You all know, again. Now, he is supposed to be sitting on top of the machinery, the ministerial machinery. How does he now resolve interministerial conflicts when he himself is supposed to be interested in becoming president? How does he instill discipline? If it is true that Mr. Julius Debra is interested in becoming president, this matter that has come up between Atufosin and Eric Opoku, how is he going to resolve it? As chief of staff, how can he resolve it when he himself is said to be interested in the same thing? So please, as for us, we are citizens, so we are voters. We have no ambition to become president. If you don't serve our interests, we will throw you out. That's all.
Well, interesting. The way in which we keep looking for witnesses here. I deny knowing about any of the things.
Not Ghanaians. Don't you hear what is happening? You, Senna, more than everybody here, knows more than I do. Why are you quiet?
Well, a few of your comments on this particular issue. And this is Alajaran and Shaman. The question that keeps, I want to ask Kwesi whether any of the so-called persons have come to tell him that he's interested to become flag bearer of the NDC. Or is he also playing to the polls by Musa Dankwa by the way which appointees is not performing? I beg you. Yeah.
My brother. Here. This is it. They don't have to come and tell me. The battle for presidential candidature has spilled into the newspapers. It's on radio. It's everywhere. Should somebody come and tell me that they are interested before I know?
But sometimes they tell him. There's also Raf M1 who says, how can you tell me Ato is sabotaging a ministry when he's not the president? Eric Opoku is misbehaving. It's about credibility, achievement, and attitude. That's Raf. This also is from Replay Nana Citing. I want to share a perspective regarding the upcoming 2028 flag bearership race of the NDC party. While I hold great respect for Mr. Stephen Kettia's long-standing service and his immense contribution to the party's organizational structure, I believe it is time for a strategic shift. In my view, the party's primary objective for 2028 must be securing victory in the general election. I foresee NDC going into opposition because the greedy people who want to be president, they don't want GM to succeed in building Ghana and leaving a legacy for Ghanaians. Azuma said that from Medina. Mr. Pratt.
Well, I think if you look at modern history, this is perhaps one of the most useless wars, that has been fought. This is a war which has been fought, led to the loss of many lives, led to the destruction of many things and so on, and has not achieved any of its objectives. You see, according to the United States and Israel, they went to this war in order to ensure that Iran doesn't build a nuclear weapon. They also claim that they went into this war to ensure that there was regime change in Iran, and so on. Now, look at the demands that the U.S. is making today. The U.S. is negotiating. Look at what it is asking for. The U.S. is asking for, one, a commitment from Iran that they will not produce a nuclear weapon. That commitment existed before the war. That commitment had already been made by Iran before the war. They are asking for it now. Now, the U.S. is saying that regime change is not possible. Only a couple of days ago, Donald Trump was praising the new Ayatollah, praising him to the high heavens. So that has not been possible. If you look at what the U.S. wants now, they want the Strait of Hormuz to be opened. It was opened before the war. So this is a particularly useless war, caused so much suffering around the world.
Even in the US.
Look at what it's doing to the economies of all countries in the world. Nothing has been achieved. But why? Is it surprising? This is Donald Trump who came into office, wanted the Panama Canal for the U.S., wanted to annex Canada, wanted to have Greenland, and so none of it was realistic. Just chasing phantoms. He wanted the Nobel Peace Prize. He didn't get it. Somebody got it. He took it from her. You understand? That's crazy. Absolute crazy. So this is a particularly useless war. And the earlier they stopped it, the better. I mean, just pack their things and go home, as they did in Vietnam, as they did in Iraq, and so on. They've lost the war. It's clear. One of the other things which is happening is this craze about Lebanon. Israel waging a completely senseless war in Lebanon. They are negotiating with the Lebanese government without Hezbollah. Okay. And they think that they can reach a peace accord with the Lebanese government, which is not involved in the fighting. How do you go and negotiate a ceasefire with a party which is not involved in the fighting? But that's how Israel is behaving. Okay. Now, they are saying that they want the Lebanese government, or the Lebanese army, to disarm Hezbollah. They don't understand Lebanon. They don't know anything. Why? The Lebanese army has everybody in there, including Hezbollah people are in the Lebanese army. How do you use this army to disarm Hezbollah? It is not possible. In any case, yesterday I listened to an interview which was carried out by France 24. They went to Lebanon, South Lebanon, and they were interviewing people about Hezbollah's decision not to participate in the peace talks and to reject the outcome and so on. And Senna, France 24. 100% of the people who were interviewed, 100%, not 99%, 100% of the people who were interviewed supported Hezbollah's position. I said, if you disarm Hezbollah, who is there to defend us? Hezbollah cannot be defeated. It cannot be dismantled. It's a crazy idea. The only way out is a negotiated settlement of the Middle East crisis, of the Palestinian question. The only way out is the guarantee of an independent state of Palestine with its own defense mechanism and with assurances that it would not, its internal arrangement would not be interfered with the way Israel is doing now. The Oslo Accord offered a way out. Israel has trampled on the Oslo Accord. Now Netanyahu says that no, he would not even accept the two-state solution and so on. So what would he accept? Total annihilation of Palestine, which is not possible. It is not possible to completely annihilate Palestine. Now, you know what is happening? Here you have Donald Trump And all the surveys indicate that he's losing the midterm elections in November. Everything indicates that. You go to Israel, all the indicators are that Netanyahu will lose any elections. Any elections he will lose as well. So these are two losers who are struggling to overcome their imminent defeat. And they are misbehaving to the chagrin of the rest of the world as well. What has happened in Iran is a complete embarrassment. This is a demonstration that America is nothing but a paper tiger. Of course, we have known that all the years. They have now confirmed it. They lost the war in Vietnam. They lost the war in Iraq. They lost the war in Afghanistan. The attempt to overthrow the Castro regime failed. And so on. It's a paper tiger. The problem is that the paper tiger is causing too much confusion around the world. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And of course, if you want to understand Africa's place in this world, it was told to us many years ago.